Hey everybody, it's Guillermo Mata here. First and foremost, thank you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come out on this beautiful Sunday. Do me a favor, if you could hear me loud and clear, GoToWebinar tends to act up sometimes on me with audio issues and camera issues. So if you can like hear me and you can see me, go ahead and just say, yes, G, I can see you, because again, I hate to do these things and then it's like, well, you can't even see my screen. Like, all right, so I see, okay, so now you should be able to, all right, great. You should be able to see my screen now. So if you can see my screen, just go ahead and type in screen in the chat. You should see my camera. You should be able to just hear me and see me loud and clear. All right, so let me go ahead and see where you guys are. Awesome, so everybody can see me. So I'm gonna shout out some names because, um, you know, I want to make it clear, man. Like, there's a lot of like automated webinars happening these days, and I'm gonna be transparent with you. You guys know that in this marketing world, they're doing a lot of automated stuff. So I encourage you. I'm all about transparency. That when you join some of these webinars, ask them in real time if you are live. Say, "What's my name?" You know, and you'll see that some of the times these things are automated, and we don't do none of that stuff here. You know what I mean? I made my promise, as you know, years ago, back in the day in New York, that if I ever had this opportunity, that I would show you exactly how it's done, and that's what we're doing. We're essentially focusing on uh, essentially building your agency and focusing less on tactics, because if it's one thing I know about the space is that tactics, they come and go, right? But there's nothing like just being a resourceful agency, you know, the ability to provide a wide array of services. I mean, it's just nothing like it. Back in the day, I didn't have a lot of the stuff that you see today, like programmatic radio. Recently we released a programmatic TV app, geofencing app, ringless app that are still functional to this day, and we still maintain those platforms. Mobile triggers, I still use it to even contact some of you. We use it in our business today. And so when clients reach out to us, we already have the resources to be able to provide those services. And on top of that, a lot of you, by the end of this webinar, uh, you're going to be able to also resell this as a service and take home 100%. We don't take any cut of it, So, we're really, really just trying to, not just help, but empower you at the end of the day. So you're prepared. You know what I mean? So I'm just being open and transparent here. That's just the way it is. So again, appreciate you all coming out to this webinar on this Sunday. Go ahead and let me know in the chat, where are you located? If you could take a moment to just let me know in the chat where you're located, that would be awesome. I know that on Thursday we had people here from like Philippines, the UK, Australia. So go ahead and let me know in the chat where you're located. That would be awesome. All right, so we have some folks here from California. What's up, Cali? Canada, what's going on, Cali? More Calis. Oh, Philadelphia, what's up, Philadelphia? South Florida, more Californians. Texas, what's up, Texas? My son was born in Texas. So it's good to see some of you guys here. Austin, Texas, what's up, Austin? Austin is beautiful, man. If you've never been, it's a beautiful place. It gets humid at times, but look, Florida is just as humid. It's no different. Houston, Texas, what's up, Houston? Nice. So Spain is in the house. What's up, Spain? I've been doing a lot of ancestry research. Found out that I have like a lot of Spain in me. I'm like, oh God, what's going on? I didn't know this stuff, so I've just been talking to my wife about it. It's crazy, but that's a whole nother topic. Uh, more Vancouver, Kansas. What's up, Kansas? Kansas is beautiful. Nice, nice, great. So we got about like 2 minutes. How many of you right now are actively running a digital agency? Like, you're actively doing this full time. If you are, go ahead and just say yes. If you aren't, just say no. This is new to me, just put no. So if you are, just go ahead and put some yeses that you've been actively running your agency full time. If you aren't, just put no. If you're new to the space and you're just learning about this, just go ahead and just put new. I'm not gonna shut you up, but you know. So there's some of you that are new here, completely understandable. You don't need to be like some kind of a scientist to do any of the stuff that I'm gonna show you today. Gonna make it nice and easy. I mean, if I could, I always use myself as an example because I don't, I'm not gonna sit here and brag, you know what I mean? But I have, I dropped out of college. Um, I, you know, I was talked down on in school. You know what I mean? I don't know anything special. All it took for me to get to where I'm at in the position that I'm at in my business, having a corporation, having a full staff, and having consultants out there working and stuff like that is just to will. And of course, a lot of strategic planning. I don't know anybody fancy. I don't know no special group. I'm not a part of a special society. I'm not, this is just, again, just will. It's something that I'm passionate about. And if you're here, you're obviously passionate as well. You're passionate about local marketing. You want to learn about it for your own reasons. Maybe is, you want to do something in life. You want to travel more. You want to have more family time. You know what I mean? So we're all here for a variety of different reasons. And again, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to, steer us in the right direction. Again, a lot of you have been following me throughout the years and you know how I roll already. You know that I'm a straight shooter. I'm gonna tell you how it is and how it should be done. So let's get right into it. So I'm not gonna sit here blabbering too much. I'm gonna go ahead and expand my screen. I'll bring myself back at the end of the presentation and we'll do a live Q&A. All I simply ask is that like you hold your questions for the end of the webinar. I'm gonna be announcing something really cool for those of you that came out. We have a really cool app that's coming out and we're going to be finally merging all of the platforms. That's why we're taking a pause on development of any further platforms. We're going to start bringing them all together now so that you can access a lot of what we're doing now on your phone and get it done nice and easy and lots more. So you definitely want to stick around for that. Again, Q&A toward the end, hold your questions. And look, take notes throughout. If there's something that I might have just schemed over or whatever, just go ahead and write some questions and I'll be more than happy to answer them toward the end of the webinar. So I'm going to get myself out of here and I'll bring myself back again toward the end of the webinar. You should see my screen. Yes, could I get some confirmations in the chat and let me know that you can see my screen, please? That'll be great. Just go ahead and put some yeses in the chat box. Awesome. Thank you, Michael, John. And I'm just going to shout out everybody's name so you know this is live. Dennis, Donald, Frank, Frank Casper, Jeannie, Glenn, Keith, Larry B, Maria Fodor, Mark Johns, Michael Chris, Paul, Patrick, Robert Castillo, Rudy Soto, Shameen Russell, Terry Moore, Sandra, and everybody. Just again, welcome and thank you for coming out to the webinar. I'm gonna get out of here now and get the ball up and rolling now. I'm just gonna minimize the chat and get the ball rolling. Okay, so welcome. I see more of you are signing in. On this presentation, you're gonna discover the Programmatic Radio app. This app is incredible. I'm really blessed to be in this position to to be able to provide you with this access. I mean, we have iHeart built into our platform, Pandora, Univision, ESPN Radio, podcasts, and so much more. Can you see my full screen? Can you go ahead and just put yeses in the chat box if you could see my full screen? I'm just gonna bring the presentation back. Just go ahead and put some yeses. Awesome. Thank you so much, Larry B, and everybody else. Great, thank you. Okay, so programmatically advertise on over 7,500 podcasts, 1.5K radio stations, plus access 100 million monthly listeners. So like you're not just targeting platforms here, you know what I mean? You're actually going to be able to like target the listeners. Okay, so we'll get into all of that techie stuff a little later, but a little bit about myself. My name is Guillermo Mata. I'm the CEO of Red Tour Media LLC, and I'm the owner of this incredible platform. And again, I don't take credit for all of the stuff that I do. It takes a bunch of us involved to be able to put these things together. So on behalf of Asan and Wally, my incredible tech team, I couldn't have done it without them. So, you know, again, thank you. Thank you. A little bit about me, if you don't have any clue as to who I am, I operate a digital agency and community separately with over 20,000 digital consultants. We focus on expanding our businesses through the process of business development and technology. My 10 plus years of marketing experience has enabled us as a digital company to help more marketers, business owners, startups hassle less and generate more sales worldwide. So let's get the ball rolling. And again, welcome to all of you that have come out to the webinar. You know, I really appreciate you all taking time out of your day to be here today. And yes, again, Keith and Donald, Mark, Dennis, Larry B, everybody, this is 1000% live. And yeah, just wanted to disclose that. So radio to this day is one of the best ways to reach your current and new customers. The thing is that, you know, not a lot of so-called, you know, top high-end marketers out there like to talk about it. It's literally a great way to turn audio listeners into clickers and callers. It's a great way to do that. You just need the right tools to do it. Let's move forward and talk a little bit about the facts. According to the Radio Advertising Bureau here in the United States, studies show that a whopping 244.5 million American adults listen to radio each and every month. That's a lot of people, different demographics, income levels, and tons more. Business owners, consumers. 92% of us here in the United States actively listen to AM and FM radio. Let me know in the chat, are you actively listening to radio? I mean, who isn't, right? So if you are listening to radio, go ahead and just put some yeses in the chat box. That'd be great. A lot of you, right? Like, I'm listening to radio when I get in my car. That's the first thing that comes on. Mark John says mostly satellite. Yeah. And then nowadays, you know, that you could play Spotify, Pandora on your phone, on your car, and on the go when you're jogging out there, walking your dog. So, of course, everybody is. So here's what studies are showing. And if you, again, just take notes throughout this presentation, because a lot of this is based off real facts. So TV viewership is up at 87%, PC use 54%, smartphone use 81%, tablet use is at 46%. And I want you to process that, right? Process all of this. So please note all of this down. More than 71.2 million adults 18 through 34 use radio each and every month. 90% of adults 18 through 34 are reached monthly by radio. Adults 35 to 49, same cases, 94% of adults 35 to 49 are reached monthly by radio. So just as much as people are consuming social media and Telegram and all these avenues of just to go and hang out and see what's going on, people are also listening to radio. Adults 50 and older, 91% of adults 50 and older. And as I'm speaking about this, I want you to keep in mind that these are different income brackets. And I'm going to show you a little interview a little later on this presentation from someone respected in the radio world, and they talk a lot about this, you know, different income brackets. I mean, who wouldn't want to tap into these different types of brackets? With the right tools, again, you could do it. So let's move forward, take a second to speak on radio listeners, figures, and trends. So according to the Pew Research Center, radio to this day reaches almost the entire US, and it's now worldwide, thanks to programmatic algorithms. Nielsen Holdings, another great company, they do a lot of data research, much more. Previously in 2018, according to Nielsen Media, research showed that 89% of Americans 18 and older listen to radio any given week. So that means, in short, that, you know, they'll, at some point in their day, they're going to be listening to the radio. Okay. You can tell Alexa right now to play something from the radio, and she'll find it for you. So this, you know, there's just a lot of different ways that you could reach your audience. And I'm not saying that radio is the answer to it all, but what I am saying is that, again, when we are retargeting, when we're trying to reach our ideal customer, we want to test a lot of these areas out, right? Like we want to try Google, we want to try Facebook, we want to try Bing, we want to try radio to really see what works. And what ends up happening, even for us, I found that, you know, radio will work, but then Google will work, Bing not so much. And then when you look at all the data, you'll see that as far as like when it comes to the technology aspect inside of things, you'll find that mobile is actually what's generating a lot of these triggers, right? And actions. So news, talk, and information stations are some of the most popular broadcast radio formats with a 12% share of listeners among age 18 plus and up on demographics. 41% of Americans ages 18 plus listen to online radio, and again, AM and FM stations, and they're also streaming it as well. With all of the facts broken down, wouldn't it be awesome if you could tap into those 244 million listeners? Let me know in the chat. Wouldn't it be cool if you could tap into those guys that are actively listening, you know, guys with different income brackets, right? Absolutely. Dennis agrees. Patrick, yes, absolutely. So, of course it would. However, the problem isn't only the tech, but the lack of control for consultants. Oftentimes, what happens is like a lot of these platforms are built for the end business. So like the small business owner, they're not really built for guys like us, guys that are local marketers, consultants out there trying to close clients. So when you log in, a lot of the platforms don't give you the control that you need. They want to consult with you. They want to really see what it is you're trying to promote. You need flexibility, and you're also trying to generate income. So you need to talk less and do more. So you'll see by the end of this presentation that we basically, in short, answer that problem. We developed an answer to the problem. So the last thing you want to do is log into a platform and feel like a typical user. You as a consultant are already full swing. You know, you're in full swing with data prepared, ready to launch your campaign. A lot of you already know who you're going to go after. Some of you don't. And if you don't, I really encourage you to go back to the drawing board and really think about who is it that I'm targeting here, right? You want to start with that, right? And really weigh things out. If you're looking to help, for example, a salon, and you're telling the salon that you could get them, you know, you could generate calls to them, you might want to start by formulating a small campaign. You know, giving them a specific number, reroute those calls to them so you can prove to them that, hey, you could generate some calls to them. That's how you catch a lot of these small business owners' attention. You got to show them what you can do, right? You just got to show them, like, thinking that you could go around and just sell radio like that, it doesn't really work that way. You have to prove it to them. So if you say you can promote me on iHeart, Pandora, show me that you can do it. Show me that you have the resources to do it. And oftentimes what happens is a lot of them will go to your website, you know? So what our guys are doing now, our users on our platform, they're actually promoting that they could do radio. We've seen this. We've had emails from users. They're promoting that they can get users on Univision, Pandora because of our platform. So if you can show them and you can prove it, then you're good to go. So, which leads me to share with you some of the top agencies in the industry, including what they charge. So buckle up. What I will say is that in the programmatic radio space, you'll notice immediately barely any competition, but very expensive pricing structure that can sometimes force a business to find other mediums. So this is Jacob Tyler, another big mega agency. They don't play any games. These guys charge $25K per campaign, and they have hourly charges as well. Manifesto Agency, they're another company that offer programmatic radio, but they have a 50K minimum. Division of Labor Agency, 10K minimum plus setup fees and other costs associated. So the costs are extremely high. The real question here is like, why are they so expensive? Programmatic radio is on the rise, with many business owners beginning to learn about it. Agencies are looking to simply bank on it, period. So lucky for you, you have direct access to all exchanges on your side, so you can charge what you want. I really don't recommend setting your fees at like a 10K minimum, because in the small business space, businesses need flexibility, you know? And so with our platform, you could essentially create that flexibility for them. Yeah, let's keep moving forward. But what about the small business owner? Small business owners have all sorts of budgets and occasionally require financing. Unfortunately, to this day, no radio ad solution provides budget flexibility, but on their terms under $100. And again, the ability to provide massive airtime on radio, streaming radio, and podcasts. Nobody's really able to do it. There's one company out there, but like they have like a smaller fee, but they allow you to target like one exchange. They don't really give you the ability to target all these massive avenues. So you'll be the first to discover that solution by the end of this presentation. So what's the true benefit of radio and how does it work programmatically? I just want to make sure you're all still with me. If you're still with me, just go ahead and put some 5s in the chat box. That'll be great. So if you could do that, put some 5s in the chat box. Awesome. Maria, Patrick, Larry, Jeannie, thank you. Streaming podcasts on a daily commute to finding the right playlist to get you through your workout. Digital audio is more prevalent than ever. It gets better. In fact, according to the eMarketer, people spend more time streaming audio than with their social media networks. And this is facts. This is showing, like I'm literally showing you right now, again, how powerful radio really is. Radio was like the first social media when you think about it, right? Before social media and Facebook and all this stuff, there was a radio. Folks were listening to radio. With the advance of programmatic solution, it's easier now, more than ever, to capitalize on this growing audience. Programmatic audio is the use of technology to automate the process of buying ads in audio content such as digital radio, podcasts, and music streaming services. The primary benefit include better engagement, refined targeting, and reporting. Audio ads are served on a one-to-one basis, in which the advertiser can command the full attention of the consumer to create engagement. Reach your audience on their morning dog walks, while at work, during their study sessions. You really have so many ways of like targeting these types of people. But again, it just goes back to the technology. So digital audio ads do not need a screen to have an impact. You can speak to them, providing your call to action while they're actively listening to you. And as I say this, I think about one of the features in our platform where you could actually turn listeners into clickers. Oftentimes, Pandora, Spotify will allow you to publish a banner and you could associate it with your audio. So if they really want to speak to you and they want to purchase, for example, let's say you're like an Invisalign affiliate, for example, or you're like an affiliate for a dealership. If they really, really love what they're listening and they're really feeling it, they can click on your banner and you can take them to like a click to call. You can take them to a specific landing page, a lead gen page, a survey page, so you can really do a lot with this. Because at the end of the day, what they're doing is listening. They're not looking at anything, they're listening. And a majority of the time, mobile usage is at an all-time high right now. So folks are on the go on their phones. Think about how easy it is for them to click and then call, right? That's like the next step. First, they're clicking, action 1, action 2, they're calling, action 3, they're listening. Programmatic audio advertising offers enhanced targeting measures as well. In addition to choosing your demographic radius, language, country, and many other preferences, you can target multiple audio exchanges at once. Rather than focus on the platform you believe your audience is listening to, you target the person, not the platform. Reach your audience on multiple exchanges Pandora, Spotify, SiriusXM. The list really goes on. No longer creating a silo in your marketing budget per channel, with the added ability to layer in first and in some cases third-party data, it opens targeting options even further. Finally, reporting is available for your digital audio campaign, providing tangible proof of performance. More data equals more informed decisions on what is working, what could be better, so we can optimize making necessary changes in real time. So with digital audio, universe growing bigger every day, programmatic buying allows us to effectively reach your audience wherever and whenever they are listening. So now that we have a full understanding of what programmatic radio is, because like I mentioned before, you don't really need to be a scientist to do this. Let's take a moment to take a look at multiple case studies in many different verticals, including the ins and outs. So due to costs being so inflated, with no real flexibility, case studies are coming from more established businesses in the hotel, tech, and restaurant space. So let's take a quick look. Quick disclosure, all case studies that have been provided to us are coming directly from the Radio Advertising Bureau. So these guys are the ones that are the regulators in the space. Just like, you know, in the online world, you have tons and tons of regulations and different organizations that are regulating. Radio Advertising Bureau are the guys that are constantly monitoring this space. So let's take a look. So for this vertical, we'll take a look at the restaurant space. The business in particular is called Skeeter's Mesquite Grill. Skeeter's Mesquite Grill. This is a little bit on their mission. Very simple. Leverage the positive customer reviews that they had of the restaurant. So they basically wanted to scale that out. Okay. Leverage radio stations to tell the history of the restaurant, its menu, and authenticity of their food. Okay. Radio ads would refer to the Mesquite as the go-to restaurant and drive home to the point that everything is cooked over real mesquite and that Skeeter's is a local restaurant. Results, sales increased for this one small business by up to 48% within the first year using radio alone. After 18 months, Skeeter's increased the number of locations. This is the power of just one little avenue. Overall sales increased at around 35%. And this is again coming from the Radio Advertising Bureau. So nothing that I'm saying here are based off theory. This is based off facts. I'm giving you exactly real studies showing, you know, what's really happening when you scale radio, and but you do it right. So for this next one, you know, if you get lucky and land somebody in the education space, congratulations to you. But you know, for this vertical is the education space. Parker University, Dallas, Texas. They're doing the education thing, but they're also a business. Parker University's mission: drive awareness of Parker University's academic offerings, increase student applications, and awareness of Parker University's academic offerings. Their results, 274 page views. I know, in your mind, that's like, yeah, that's nothing, but check this out. Then they got 200 of those views that were really unique. 248 of those views were unique. On top of that, they got 223 entries. 142 of those entries went off to social media, shares, Twitter, Pinterest, and then they would reroute people from their thank you page. So again, we got the facts here. We're showing you here. You can see it all right here. These are their results. Okay. So for this next one, really quick, they're in the mortgage space. There's a lot of mortgage brokers out there. So this is actually, if anything, one of the easiest type of clients to land because they're always looking for leads and they're always looking for new innovation. Before I continue, I just want to make sure, are you still with me? Could I get some ones in the chat box? Again, sometimes the audio goes in and out with both Jill, Mark, Cam, Maria. Thank you. Appreciate it. GoToWebinar gets a little shaky sometimes. So anyway, let's keep going forward. So vertical mortgage, they're in the mortgage retail space, Peak Mortgage, right? Peak Mortgage, deliver a strong call to action for peak mortgage campaigns, generate an email database of qualified leads. Results, Peak Mortgage has seen an increase in both effectiveness and measurability of their radio advertising spend. So in short, these guys were able to reach their goal according to the radio advertising barrier. So they were able to generate those email leads. Okay. So even GoDaddy took it for a spin. I mean, who doesn't use GoDaddy? I use GoDaddy, right? Did it work? According to those guys, the radio advertising barrier, it did. And it did massively. Each radio test was deemed successful in terms of click-throughs and CPAs. Basically, individuals who took action after clicking through their link. All right. And they went national with it. So it worked. So just because, you know, they're like a giant corporate company, it doesn't mean that, you know, again, what I'm saying here is that small business owners, that, you know, they sometimes get intimidated when they see GoDaddy and these big players advertising. They feel like, hey, I can't do that. There's no way. You know, it's not. It's going to be expensive. But the truth is, it is, again, with the right tools. So for this segment of this presentation, I'd like to share with you 6 insider ways you can formulate your own radio ad script. So number 1, tailor the message to your audience. To your audience. Not what you feel is going to work, but what you feel, you know, you're speaking to them. You know what I mean? So you'll need to make sure your audio ad script has the right tone, language, and personality to reach your particular audience. All right. 2, write for the eye and ear. It's easy to assume that radio ad scripts is just for the ears of the radio listener. However, sound is not again, passive message. With the right script, you can use sound to conjure up images that make your message more enticing, right? It's kind of like, you know, you got to go into your imagination here, but you got to find a way to share that with the listener. I don't know if that makes sense or not. You know what I mean? So what you're essentially doing here is, like, if I were selling a pizza, for example, I always use pizza because I love pizza, right? So if I were to pitch a pizza over the radio, I'm not going to talk about the ingredients, right? But what I am going to talk about is the cheesiness of the pizza, how the crust is so different from what all the other guys do, you know? And in your mind, mentally, you're creating that image. Look, I'm no scientist here, but that's just basic sales, you know? So that's what this is all about, is all about that process. Think theater in the mind. That's basically it. Theater in the mind. Show empathy. With most advertising, you are trying to show potential customers how your product or service can address their needs and pain points. This is basically it. You're addressing their needs and their pain points. Hopefully you note that down. When your radio ad script shows empathy towards that pain point, it makes it easier on the listener. Makes them feel like you actually care. Because hopefully you do. Use verbiage that indicates you understand their feelings, acknowledge their pain points, and offer a solution. If you can show that you can relate to them or share testimonials from your customers who have used your product, service, or needs, even better. 4, include a strong call to action. Ultimately, the goal of your radio ad is to drive listeners to a specific action, whether that is making a particular purchase, visiting a retail store, visiting your website. You want to make sure that you're clear on that. Don't talk about the website on your radio ad. Like, I mean, unless that's your goal, But the last thing you want to do is talk about too many things in that little 30-second slot that you got. You know, you don't want to make that mistakes. For this reason, your call to action, CTA, is a critical part of your script. To be effective, your CTA should tell people what you want them to do and make the action easy to remember. Add an incentive. To make your script stronger, add an incentive, offering a limited time discount or special offer. This will motivate your listeners to take action quickly before they have the chance to forget the ad, thus boosting effectiveness of your radio adverts. Keep it simple. Finally, keep the script simple. Your ad will be approx 30 to 60 seconds or less and needs to have a clear, effective message. If you make it too complicated, your main point will be lost to the listener. Decide what your ultimate goal is and keep every word of the script in line with the goal. Very simple. Now that's how it's done. See, I told you, you didn't have to be a scientist to do this. Now, this form of advertising uses our physical voice. The real question here is, which voice is likely to produce the best results? So let me know in the chat, do you guys think that like the female, and look, I'm not making this like a gender thing here, okay? Forgive me. But like, do you guys think that like the female voice works better for radio? Or do you think the male voice works better for radio? Let me know in the chat. If you could do that, that would be incredible. All right, so a lot of you are thinking males. Some of you are like both. Okay, Maria says it depends on what you're selling. Yeah, there you go. Uh-huh. But there's a lot of guys here saying, hey, softer, pleasant, right? All right, so let's find out. A lot of people like myself don't pay much attention to voices in ads. When we're just going about our day, maybe going for a nice little jog, right? Focusing instead on what's being said versus who's saying it, excluding, of course, ads centered around voice, such as a celebrity talent or well-known politician, etc. However, the voice does have an overall influence on prospects' purchasing decision. Whether we realize it or not, most people react subconsciously to the voice, often changing their mind on certain products based on gender. Can you believe that? Advantages and disadvantages of the voiceovers. Female voices are soft, elegant, and soothing in most cases. This is according to like research and real stuff, guys, especially voices that are used in ads or promotional materials. Audiences consider them trustworthy and believable while being harmless. This tone is persuasive instead of being forcible, which lulls audiences into feeling, the feeling of security. This tone is persuasive instead of being forceful, which lulls audiences into feeling, again, that security. That's one of the reasons why this tone is often used in beauty, skincare, hospitality, healthcare, education, and other similar industries. Like Maria just said, right? It just depends on the market. If you're working with a salon, you might want to use not a guy. You don't want to use a guy, you want to use a female, right? Obviously, that can prove to be a disadvantage in, for instance, the auto or sports industry, where demanding tones prevail. Male tones are stronger, deeper, firmer, which makes them sound more authoritative. People looking for certain products are more likely to trust men regardless of their own gender. For example, a woman trying to buy a car will trust a male voiced over a feminine one because of the ingrained perception of authority. And I'm not talking television here. That's a different topic. I'm talking listener. Okay? Men have a distinct disadvantage when it comes to products directed at a woman. However, since no amount of authority is going to get women to trust a man's opinion, so which one is better? Let's push forward. It's not a competition because it all comes down to what Maria mentioned earlier, down to what you're trying to sell. Female voices might be a good choice for products directed primarily at women, while male voices might be a good for products designed primarily for men. But it's not always so cut and dry because other factors, including influence and just purchasing decisions, including a lot, like accents. Accents can influence massively. An American accent is considered friendly and casual. The British accent is perceived as elegant and formal, while the French accent is acknowledged as attractive. All of the voices have an impact on a prospective customer's buying decision. Why do you think so many higher end branded products use an accented or worldly voice? Tone is probably the most influential factor. Cheerful, formal, bland, sarcastic, dramatic, etc. You guys get the drift. Tones convey different images and can be used creatively to add different effects. For example, using sarcastic imagery with a dramatic voiceover in a masculine voice can make advertisement quite humorous. If the tone is right, most people won't even notice the gender. If the tone is right, as marketers, we should always research products, target audience, and look at the voices of the successful competitors before making a choice. People won't even notice gender. Gender stereotypes play a big role in this particular field because people have an almost instinctual to masculine or feminine voices. At the end of the day, as marketers, we know that an intelligent ad dollar is spent on targeting your primary demographic. As long as this perception exists, it's a good idea to utilize it in creating marketing decisions. Radio is still around and it's the pulse for many communities in the United States, which leads me into sharing with you my personal 10 benefits when it comes to radio advertising. Okay. So radio is without a doubt very effective and isn't going anywhere anytime soon, as I've made it clear. One, radio reaches huge audiences. The latest 2019 survey results show the number of people listening to radio continues to increase. In Australia, over 10 million listen to commercial stations at least one every week of the year, for at least 1 hour every week of the year. Two, radio is hyper-targeted. Radio allows messages to be tailored and localized to each audience. Advertisers can target their messages to specific demographics, communities, geographic areas, around events, and more. Each radio station is operated with specific market segments in mind. So after a careful selection process, the product or service will be advertised to your exact target market. Three, radio cuts through. Radio is the medium that people spend the most time throughout the day, providing ample opportunity for a message to reach its audience. People carry out a wide range of activities while simultaneously listening to radio, and media surveys always show that radio listeners are far less likely to tune out when it comes on the radio, like your specific ad. Four, radio is the anywhere, anytime medium. Given radio's portability, advertisers have the opportunity to reach people on the go, giving them the edge over competitors. Five, radio is the pulse, again, of the community. Radio is alive, local, so it reflects the community. People listen to radio to find out what's happening in their community, such as special events, news, traffic updates, weather reports, and entertainment and more. It's more local than global. The traffic is jammed or the bridge is closed. In fact, it's very interesting to note that radio has many of the characteristics that the new world, digital world has in its way. And, again, it acts as your constant companion. It's always right next to you. Six, radio offers promotional opportunities. A live broadcast at your location, sampling your product, on the air, running a competition. Promotions like this can be hard to do with social media, print, television, but radio can offer this sort of promotion for your ideal customer. Involvement at an affordable price. And if it's done well, it can really personalize your message or service to your target customer. 7, radio is influential. Radio is a great medium to build awareness. For example, careful time placement ads can have a real impact on your call to action. Studies show that radio content influences people because they feel they are hearing it from a friend, and referrals are always the best type of sales opportunity. 8, radio reaches your target customers with frequency. Advertising works by repetition. Just like any other medium, your target customer may well need to hear your commercial 3 to 4 times before they can respond to your call to action. See, oftentimes we set this expectation that, all right, well, they're going to hear my ad and they're going to click it. I know it's going to happen, believe me, but it doesn't work like that. You got to measure the data. How many times does it take one person for them to actually take action and call you or fill out your form? That's important to measure. 9, radio is flexible and immediate. Radio commercials can be created quickly without production, delays, or other media. Okay, like you could literally get it up and running within a week. Like I'm talking as far as like your actual radio ad. 10, radio provides a strong call to action. Radio commercials can be selectively scheduled by the day, part, weekend, so that they're running spot on target. So for this section of this presentation, I'll share with you some real examples. The examples you're about to hear come from more established brands. Lots we can take from these examples. Let's start with Pizza Hut really quick. I'm gonna go ahead and minimize my screen really quick. And before I play this, are you guys still with me? I just wanna make sure I'm not losing anybody. Just go ahead and put some ones in the chat box if you're still with me. Perfect, great, thank you, appreciate it. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this Pizza Hut example, and we'll talk about it.
Tonight a big storm. Modern Pepsi soccer offer with every 2 medium pan Super Supreme. You get a real soccer ball and 4 cans of Pepsi for free. What about the weather? Don't resist. Call 19,000 now.
So that one was super hypey. It was exciting, right? And they drove it right to the point, right to the point. Now let's check out this next one. It's Burger King, for example. Let's take a look at what they have.
Back to the King Value Radio Network. I'm your host, Sandy.
And I'm your host, Carl. Sandy, we are getting loads of calls today about the fresh new $1 double crispy cheesy burger.
Well, hello. With 2 flame broiled patties, crispy onions, and cheesy sauce for only $1, that's no surprise.
Jim from Tucson, you're on the air.
Yeah, hi guys. I just want to say I took your advice. Went to Burger King. I got a new double crispy cheesy burger for $1. I couldn't be happy.
Oh, congratulations. Say, Jim, what was your favorite part of the delicious new double crispy cheesy burger? The flame fresh taste.
Well, I'll tell you, it had 2 big flame broiled patties, plus it had crispy onions and cheesy sauce too. It was really delicious.
Oh, don't forget the price, Jim.
Oh yeah, it only cost $1. It's probably the best purchase I ever made.
Probably, Jim.
Okay, definitely.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Get the new double crispy cheesy burger with double the flame fresh taste.
You notice how they, like, in regards to what I was saying before about imagery, right? Creating that vision in the listener's mind. They talked a lot about how cheesy their burgers were, right? There's a lot that we can take from this and pass on to the small business owner. Let's check this one out too. This is IKEA.
If IKEA sofas could talk, they'd say, "Buy me. I'm perfect for families and entertaining."
Really? Don't you think they'd say something like, we're comfortable, stylish, affordable, and come with a 10-year warranty?
I think they'd be more specific, like, Get up to 15% back as an IKEA gift card with your sofa purchase on select sofa styles. See store for details.
Really? IKEA sofas would say that? Even the Ektorp?
The Ektorp would totally say that. Find an IKEA sofa that speaks to you at IKEA Canton, the life improvement store.
So there was a couple of things that we can take from this one, right? There was incentives that they spoke about, locations, right? So let's check this one out here. This is Pringles.
Mr. Clark, your daughter is a very good kisser. Is Mrs. Clark a good kisser?
When you crave the uncomfortable, try spicy Pringles scorching. The campaign.
Right? So lots that we can take from these big guys, right? Obviously, these are, you know, big players in the business world. These are giant corporate companies. But I love how simple they made their advertising, starting with pizza. They talked about how cheesy that pizza was. And to the listener on a Friday, you got to think about, they're not just going to run this ad on a crazy Monday, or I'm sure they have particular days that they're going to run this ad campaign. And it does them well. It could be on that Thursday, that Friday, you know, when folks are just getting off of work. Hey, go get yourself some nice pizza. Burger King, the same thing, you know, scaling out how delicious their meal is. And to a listener, psychologically, in their heads, they're like, wow, let's go get that cheesy $1 burger. IKEA, they talked a lot about the furniture, right? The furniture and how like soft their furniture is and why you might want to go check them out. Pringles, right? Pringles, this is, again, just great ideas to, you know, get your juices flowing at the end of the day. Let's take a moment to take a look at some small business geared ads. So we'll take a look at Fletcher Roy, and this is a really good one I'll show you here. And they're focused more on caller leads. Are you still with me? I just want to make sure. Can you put some ones in the chat box? Great, 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 great. Great. Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so let's check out Fletcher Roy, and I see that I'll bring the audio up some so you guys could hear it. Here we go.
The campaign attack ads are over and our lives have returned to normal. Not. The holidays are here, and that means traffic and ads. I'm attorney Ralph Fletcher, and if you've been hurt, call 888-8000 or findfletchernow.com.
Ralph's right. I'm Ryan Schinnebeer. Our law firm will handle the insurance companies, doctor's appointments, car rentals, and missed work if you've been hurt.
If you've been hurt, call 911 first and then call 888-8000.
Lawyer up with Fletcher, Roy, and Schinnebeer and call 888-8000.
Happy holidays, and remember this number, 888-8000.
Now, you noticed how they like kept emphasizing that number, right? 888-8000. And I'm sure everybody here remembers that number. I think that is, and the fact that it's them speaking, right? They did an amazing job with this. And they got the, I'm sure they got their timing right. But for that example, it was just geared more toward caller leads. They're looking for guys that are going to click or call them like now. So for this next one, we'll take a look at this realtor example based out in Texas. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and
It's time to buy your new home, or maybe it's time to purchase that new space for your business. Either way, you need to talk to Teresa Von Ilias and her agents at Ameriflex Realtors. When you get to the negotiating table, you'll want Teresa's nearly 25 years of experience and a decade of trusted service from Ameriflex Realtors working for you. Call Teresa and her agents at Ameriflex Realtors now, 817-246-4444, or come by our White Settlement office at 8713 White Settlement Road. Ameriflex Realtors, 817-246-4444. You can find us on the web at AmeriflexRealtors.com.
Now, listening to this one, I would have just honestly hoped that they just emphasized more of their location. You know, they were talking more about their number, you know, they were putting the number out there and the location. I would have just liked to see more of their location. let's go ahead and check out this next one here. And Huber's Cafe, this is a really good one here. They really drove it home.
Have you thought about where you're going for lunch today? Try an old favorite of the business world. Huber's in downtown Portland is the place to get a great lunch at a great price. Portland's oldest restaurant serves the very best in turkey and ham entrees with all of the traditional trimmings, like zesty cranberry sauce and buttery mashed potatoes. Huber's also offers a wide variety of fresh seafood, juicy steak, pasta, and salad lunches. There's something for everyone. Huber's is #1 in variety, quality, and outstanding service. If you go to Huber's for lunch, you'll be so spoiled it'll be hard to go anywhere else. Huber's is a long-standing tradition. They're located at 411 Southwest 3rd Avenue in downtown Portland. Check out their menu at hubers.com. This week's special is salmon cakes with lemon caper beer blanc, served up with sauteed vegetables and rice pilaf for only $6.95. Huber's, Portland's oldest restaurant.
Lovely, right? Created all sorts of images in my mind. I don't know about you, but they talked about the lemon cake and all this good stuff, right? So you get the point here now, like how important it is to create those images and really drive home to the point what it is that you're putting out there, right? So let's dig a little deeper. But why does radio advertising actually work? According to Melissa, okay, and I apologize if I pronounce your last name wrong, but Melissa Cundy of the Portland Area Radio Council. She's an established, amazing individual. Do your homework on her. She's amazing, incredible. This is what she had to say about radio. Radio is the original social media. Radio speaks to one person at a time. So you get to speak to one person at a time. And in the marketing world, I mean, as you're pitching or whatever, you want to not talk to many people, but one person. Radio is all about human connection. Let's take a moment to hear what she has to say in this private interview. All right, so I'm gonna just open up my screen here. I'm gonna bring the audio up some so there's no, just gonna bring my mic down so you can hear it a little better. And let's open up the screen here.
A couple of things about radio that I want to throw out there. Just some raw statistics. Radio reaches over 240 million people a day. It is a growing medium. And one of the key demographics of radio is people age 14 or 18 to 49 with college education and a household income of over $75,000. Now, if that isn't an attractive demographic, I don't know what is. But I've asked Melissa to come here today to talk to us about radio and answer some questions. So, Melissa, why don't you tell us why radio continues to grow and what makes it a good marketing choice?
Well, one of the reasons I think that, Drew, that radio continues to grow is it's a very personal medium. Radio reaches thousands, millions of people every day, but it speaks to one person at a time. And so I think in this world of digital clutter and 5,000 messages hitting people, I think that it's still, I know through research that it's a companion medium. And so you can get really isolated in the digital sphere. And radio is that one medium where you can turn on and you can feel like you're in community. So that's why I think it's growing, because it really is this connection to other people. It's kind of like the original social media, if I can, stretch it that far.
Okay. Why does it work?
Why does it work? Well, I think really what radio works because it is the superpower of sound and story. There is no other medium out there that a business can talk to somebody one-on-one that will allow them to tell their story and create a signature sound. And you can really stand out with radio, whereas other mediums, I think it was Martin Lindstrom said that, and I'm not going to quote this exactly, but like 86 or 83% of all businesses spend their entire marketing budget on visual. And yet it's emotion through sound that drives and can even boost sales and get people wanting to buy. I mean, he wrote biology and did a lot of neuroscience studies. And so radio is that medium that touches the emotion where people are. I mean, people are listening it to in their car. They're listening to, at the point of purchase. They just got out of their car listening to something, and they're motivated because they have this sense of connection with that brand. And it's something that can happen all year long. And it's not just this random out there. Your business becomes that business that's in their mental community. Does that make sense? Sure.
Wow. Now that was super informative, and I apologize if the audio was a little low. I'm playing this directly from my laptop here, but you know, she dropped a lot of great gems, and she touched on how, you know, about the listening aspect and how it connects to the emotional side of things, and you know, the whole psychology behind it. And she referenced again how this is, you know, this is in her world like the original social media, which is like very, very powerful stuff here. Okay, did you get a lot of value from that interview? Hopefully you were able to like hear it nice and clearly. Can you let me know in the chat boxes? Go ahead and drop some yeses. Let me know what you thought about it. Great, Randall, thank you. I appreciate that. Let's keep moving forward. Now, I got more to share with you here, but I just had to share that interview with you. So for this segment, we'll take a look at the current state of radio. So the global radio advertising market reached a value of $38.1 billion in 2021. Now, I really want you to just process that number. Research company iMark expects the market to reach a value of $44.3 billion by 2026. Radio advertising, as you already know, is one of the oldest forms of advertising across the globe. It broadcasts audio content to a vast audience and is relatively less expensive compared to other outlets. Moreover, as it acts as an influential route of publicity, it is widely preferred by both big and small companies worldwide. So you can see the constant growth in regards to radio. So my point here is that more and more businesses are starting to realize, especially through recent events, the power of radio. Radio advertising market trends. Radio is an efficient and again, portable advertising medium that appeals to a broader audience. As a result, leading brands and advertisers rely on radio commercials to communicate with their target audience. Apart from this, due to the availability of radio stations in the most parts of the world, radio acts as a sole source of information and entertainment for people residing in more rural areas. Moreover, individuals worldwide prefer listening to radio while driving, exercising, playing video games, and performing daily chores, especially in car media apps that support radio, creating lucrative growth opportunities for advertisers like me and you. So you can see here in regards to market share, okay, where traditional radio stands and other forms of like satellite radio and so on and so forth. So now with all of this said, you don't need to be a scientist to do this. But what you do need to know is the product or service you're promoting so that you can speak to them directly. We've provided you today with vital proven cases, research, and example cases. Now, ready to advertise on radio and podcast programmatically? If that's you, go ahead and put some yeses in the chat box. Hopefully it is you. So let's do it, guys. So locally and worldwide. With that being said, I'd like to introduce you to our new national and global platform that will enable you to run radio and podcast advertisements 100% programmatically. It means you don't need to consult with anybody. You can run your campaigns how you want, charge what you want, and be able to do this on your terms. This is the Programmatic Radio app. Programmatic Radio app is a platform built for consultants by consultants, enabling you to run advertisements on podcasts and radio stations 100% programmatically. We have so many features built in this thing. You guys got to see. I'm going to show you in a minute. Built with robust targeting features, Our platform makes it extremely easy to publish and optimize your radio ad campaigns on podcasts and radio stations. Form radio ads at the click of a button. Simply choose the time, date, location, and in minutes you can run your ads locally on radio using exchanges such as iHeartRadio, SiriusXM, Pandora, Univision, ESPN Radio. I mean, Podcast One, the list goes on. So let's take a look at some of our partners built inside. But first, again, we got to shout out our partners because we couldn't have done it without them. So these are some of the exchanges and / publishers built inside of our platform. So we have Univision, as I mentioned, Pandora, Cox Media, which houses a ton of different podcasts, like the Joe Rogan and a bunch of big other players out there. Entrevision, Spanish broadcasting station. So if you're working maybe with a Latin restaurant, doctor, I don't know, it's there for you. Sports broadcasting, Kast, the Washington Post, all built in. But we couldn't have done it without the Programmatic Mechanics. This is our third collaboration with them. Great team out of New York City. Shout out to Keith Guberman, Paul Rozowski, Eric Thorson. This was our go-to guy. He was incredible working with us. I mean, I'm very, very thankful to be in touch with this group of people. Super smart. We're providing you with access to over 10,000 plus radio exchanges built into our platform so you could run those campaigns, 7,500 podcast shows, 1.5K streaming radio stations. And again, we're enabling you to access over 100 million monthly listeners on our platform alone. Yes, this means you can run your audio in many different radio stations and podcasts. Let's go over our built-in partners and exchanges responsible for allowing us to access this massive radio ad inventory. Pandora, as you know, is the #1 streaming service in the US, but more than that, 90% of their listeners have free ad-supported subscriptions to their app. So a lot of these guys are also listening, and they're also paying to use Pandora. Podcast One is the leading destination for the best, most popular podcasts in many different genres: sports, comedy, celebrity, business, and tons more. With more than 860 stations, iHeart is the largest digital radio broadcaster in the US. 9 out of 10 Americans listen to these guys every month. 20, this is another one, Cox Media, over 100 plus local news outlets, 52, million Americans reach weekly. These guys are huge and they're connected to our platform. Full service podcast platform, independent for podcast creators. Spreaker is another great outlet as well. Tune in, again, they're built in with a bunch of news, sports, radio, music stations, and tons more. CNN, MSNBC, Fox, they're all built into this platform. Entrevision is another one geared toward more the Hispanic community, but that's another outlet. Univision is another one. They're also built into our platform. Cameraless Media engages listeners with high quality local programming through 415 owned and operated stations across 86 markets, delivering nationally syndicated sports, news, talk, and entertainment, which is huge. NFL, NCAA, the Masters, CNN, AP, the Academy of Country Music Awards. These guys are like massive. You're going to see in a moment. Red Circle, another podcast platform that's integrated to us. Audioboom connects to Spotify and TuneIn as well. They're all integrated together. Art, again, Art19 powers hundreds of millions of podcast downloads every month in many different topics and verticals. So thanks to our built-in exchanges of publishers, our users have direct access to over a combined total of 10,000 plus programmatic outlets via radio and podcasts. The programmatic radio app was built for all business types with consultants in mind. As developers, we believe in transparency and the importance of data accuracy, which is why we provide you with a full cockpit view so you can measure out your campaign strategically. With that said, let's take a look at real time to the platform. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into the programmatic radio app. and I'm gonna give you a breakdown on how it works. Just gonna log in for you. And so if you can see my screen, go ahead and put some ones in the chat box, and I promise toward the end, I'm gonna answer your questions. I see that some of you have some questions already. And thank you, Larry and Randall. Thank you. All right, great. Let's move forward. So this is our awesome dashboard. On your dashboard, you'll see your total balance, total audios, total prime campaigns. Your prime campaigns are really cool because it'll allow us to actually monitor your campaigns along with you. We took a lot of what we learned in the past and we just wanted to help streamline it for you. So definitely, I'll break that down in a couple of minutes. Total audio campaigns. These are more campaigns that you're going to be forming on your own. Again, you have massive control here to all exchanges, all radio exchanges. And then we have this awesome chat where you can see some of our newest members going crazy here. A lot of people are excited. So let's go ahead and move over to top up. As always, we set a minimum of only $75 for you to use our platform, and that is all. Compared to what folks are charging, this is actually very, very low. All right, so keep that in mind. Now, if you're overseas, at this time, we set a minimum of $100, and that is processed manually. So keep that all in mind. So it's 75 bucks, and you could spread that out throughout your campaign. It doesn't mean that you have to like use it all in one campaign. We don't restrict you here, okay? So let's keep moving forward. So in this area is really cool because if you remember before, I said that you can integrate those audio plays like this one.
It's time to buy your new home, or maybe.
So let's say I wanted to run a campaign, right? I could associate this URL here with this campaign and promote it. So for example, if it happens to play on Pandora, I could show an image when someone clicks it on their phone. Then when they click it, I could take them to a click to call or redirect and so on and so forth. Uploading audio is really easy. There's no restrictions at all. You could upload thousands of uploads. We give you full control, no restrictions. Give it a title, put your URL here, upload up to 60 seconds worth of audio, MP3 files only, you're done. Let's go ahead and go into Radio App. This is another cool feature of ours. It allows you to actually target specific apps. And in the training, I show you exactly how to do that, okay? So what you can do here is, for example, if you go into like the Android store, sometimes they have like, you'll find all those apps there, like iHeart, you'll find Pandora. So what you can do is take their unique ID, in which I show you in the training, and you could target that specific app. So let's say you want traffic only from Pandora. You want to tell our platform to generate traffic from like maybe ESPN, Univision, etc. You just put that URL here with the ID, in which I'll show you in the training, for whichever platform you're looking to target, give it a name, you're done. So you could get traffic from that app. So think about how cost effective that is. All right, let's move on to the next. Let's go into audio campaigns. So as you can see here, for your basic campaign structure, we give you a name. You can see the budget type, daily budget, your deploy date, start date, end date. You got it all there broken down for you. You could even view your campaign if you want. I'm going to click on new campaign and just take you through the process of formulating your first radio ad campaign. Now, a lot of the structure that you see here is very similar to our last platform, thanks to the programmatic mechanics. They've made it very, very easy for us to form these campaigns. So as you can see here, you can give this campaign a name. We'll call it Client 1, for example. We'll focus on CTRs. We want straight in-app inventory only. So for those of you who want to just target Pandora, that app, and you want clickers and calls from Pandora, guys that are listening to specific music or a podcast, etc. There you go. So you have your start date, end dates, deploy dates. I break a lot of this down in the training, down to frequency caps. So remember in the presentation, I mentioned that sometimes it takes one person to see your ad 1 to maybe 3 times before they could actually click on your ad. You could set those caps here. Now, of course, you could optimize your campaign by setting specific days and times. You could set your minimum bid, base bid. By default, we'll let you know where you should bid based off where the exchanges are. It's all done automatically. So you don't really have to spend much time thinking and trying to debate, all right, which bid is best. You know, we set that up for you. It's all done automatically. So you can see here, you can integrate your audio campaign as well. Remember, this is that audio that's associated with a specific URL, so we could make it clickable. All right. Now, moving forward, of course, we give you massive control. You could target by IP, zips, domain. So if you want to target specific areas, you can do that. We allow you to target different types of exchanges as well, as I've mentioned. And you could associate it with your campaign along with set CPMs. Our platform uses CPM models only. So that means that for every 1,000 impressions that you receive, you'll be charged a set price. So I could target technology, behaviors, internet use, listening and streaming audio, done, okay? Now for targeting, here's where it gets really cool. So if we use AdWiz, for example, and you can see here for AdWiz, my ad is gonna run on TuneIn, SoundCloud, it's gonna scale out Cox Media, iHeartRadio. If I choose to like just focus on AdWiz, I would just remove any other components that I have here in relations to in-app. I wouldn't do in-app, I would just keep it open. And then I would go into just keeping AdWiz there. You don't worry so much about the other exchanges. These are other exchanges that you could like scale out as well along with your campaign. But for starters, you could just use AdWiz. If you choose to go with Triton Digital, then you could scale out all others like that you see here, right? It's a bunch of others like Univision and local stations in specific areas. So now you could target by countries. We work worldwide. So for this example, I'll show you United States. If I want to go Tampa, I could run ads in the Tampa area and run ads during the Buccaneers game, for example. Now, remember I said you could target specific apps, but you don't have to. You could just remove this here and you're done. You could day part your campaigns. We use military time here, so just be mindful of that. Very simple. Inventory. So if we want, we're looking, for example, to promote an affiliate offer, right? For a pay-per-call, we would focus on Android and, click add, we're ready to go. Now let's move on to the next. We'll go into premium campaigns and I'll break that all down. This one uses more a bit of advanced features, again, with the ability for us to be able to monitor your campaign. So this one has been set up already. It's set up to target around SoundCloud, $300 budget, start date, end date, audio, you have your location, genders, age set up here, devices, partners that we're gonna target, those show up here. You have, I'll just show you here, I'll create a premium campaign and just break down the process for you. It's very easy. You got your name here, your budget. The minimum budget for these campaigns is $250, so just be mindful of that. Start date, end dates, and that's only for premium campaigns. So, that's only if you choose to go this route. So you can set your specific dates and times. You can upload your audio file, upload your banners. We give you a breakdown on like the types of files that you need, like as far as like the sizes and more. We give you specific locations. So if I want to target 11225 or specific areas, I can do that here. You have devices, genders. You could target by behavior segments. So you could target, for example, folks that are listening to classic rock, but they're listening to maybe a business podcast. If you don't want to go that route, you could go and target folks who are car buyers, and then maybe, let's see, maybe they're of high income, okay? And when you submit that campaign, it'll show just like I showed you here, and it allows us to monitor it with you. So it's running accurately and on time. So let's move on to reports. Of course, we're all about transparency. So you can check out all your reports here for all your lines, as you see here, and we give you a breakdown for premium campaigns as well. Again, this is a bit of a more advanced feature. When you click download and preview, we generate a full report for you, so you could actually see like where your campaign is, along with the impressions, the listeners, the clicks you might have received, just as you see here. Very, very basic, nothing too complicated there. Okay. Now, this one is an optional feature, but I recommend it if you're a consultant, right? And you're looking to sell radio. Now, we allow you to take home 100% earnings on every account that you bring in. So, excuse me. So now let's say you registered under me, right? You topped up, let's say you paid my fee of $1,000 because I set it to be $1,000. That all goes to you. You can see it all here, total fees paid, total fees withdrawn, in withdraw. You just click this little link here. It sends us a request. We coordinate with you on the first week and second week of every month. Every Monday, we pay out. We pay out through checks or wire. Okay, so keep that in mind. Let me break down this feature really quick. I'm going to go into add new user. When you click add new user, this allows you to add clients manually if you wanted to, just by setting a username and password for them. Now, if you don't want to do that, you could hand off your link here and it'll show just like this. Like I'll show you this one here. I'll click copy and paste that here so you can get an idea. So you can see I have my logo here. So this is your branding, and we provide you with a unique URL, programmaticradio.pro. So it positions you like a pro. Manage your business. When you click manage your business, I'm going to show you something else. So you can leave the top up the same. Remember that top ups are paid to the networks. They're non-refundable. That means that they go to the exchanges, not us. Service fees. This is where you make your take. So let's say you made your fee, let's say $1,000, and you want it to be recurring. Our platform will check every single month to make sure that that user has topped up $1,000 in their account to be paid out to you. Now you can set your colors, primary color, secondary color, background color, your logo, so it has all of your branding. You don't take care of anything at all. I mean, when you think about automation, this is definitely has to be the way to go, because you're not doing anything. You're not processing any payments. If you want to do your own training for them on a separate site or something like that, you can absolutely do that. But other than that, you don't really have anything else to do. We provide you with training as well alongside that. So you could also, process this entire platform and understand how to work it out essentially. We also provide support as well. We answer tickets in the order that they come in. But if you're a white label user, we usually have a separate list for those as well. So yeah, that's pretty much our platform. I'm going to continue on with the presentation because I see that there's a lot of exciting comments in the chat. And before I share any links, I just want to share some other details with you. So let's recap all features. So you have this awesome dashboard where you could check your total audios, your total premium campaigns, your total custom campaigns that you might have made. You have that chat to teamwork with others in the community. All we ask is that you keep it clean. Minimum $75 is all you need in your account to be able to run campaigns. So you could spread it out. You don't need to use it all in one campaign. You could associate audios with a URL so they become clickable. You could also choose to, again, redirect a lot of that. So you could turn it into a click to call maybe. So really think about that strategically. And then we have the radio apps feature where you could get traffic from specific apps. And we break that down in the training, all broken down for you. You can track all of your campaigns, have full control over your campaigns. Campaigns usually go up within sometimes within an hour, latest like 24 to 48 hours. It's all done programmatically, so there's no human involved in this process. The only time there's really a human involved is really us if you tend to use go to use the Prime campaigns. So again, you have full control over your KPI, start date, end dates, inventory types, tons of different exchanges built into our platform. As I mentioned, tons of radio, streaming stations, podcasts, they're all there for you. Choose to target by specific interests. You could target car owners, car buyers by specific income brackets. And yeah, we provide you with a full reporting as well, detailed report. You might, if you don't become a white label, you might want to be able to share that report. But you know, it's a bit more work, which is why I encourage you to, if you do decide to go the white label route, again, you're taking home 100% earnings on your account. So moving forward, you could set your own fees. You could make those fees reoccurring. And again, we have a ticket system, tons and tons of training for you as well. I have to take a second to remind you, programmatic radio companies are setting their fees between $5,000 and $50,000 per campaign. Lack of control, that doesn't work for us as consultants, so we needed to develop our own. As consultants, especially with the thought of our clients, those types of numbers, again, don't add up. Not only do you have full control here, but you can charge what you want. I can't take all of the credit. If it wasn't for our developer Hassan and the programmatic mechanics out of New York City, this would have been possible. These guys are the reason today you'll have direct access to the publishers I mentioned earlier. So what is the cost? Since our initial introduction to the radio app was just been amazing, we knew that our Red Tour Media members would have a ball selling radio ads slots locally. So you won't even pay anywhere near $3,000. We've always strived to give you full control. You guys have known that. If you've been with me, I've always thought about you. I'm thinking like, give you control. That's not what you'll be paying today. Instead, you can charge and take that home 100% on every account you bring in. You won't even pay $19.97 with all the development costs that it cost us. It cost us a lot to develop this platform. I won't even get into those numbers. So even with the networks built inside, you won't even pay $997. So are you ready? Are you truly ready to start running programmatic radio and podcast advertisements? Go ahead and let me know in the chat. Awesome. So you guys are super excited. Great. I'm excited for you. So today only your registration fee is only $119, zero monthly cost. But wait. This is the last ad platform that we're going to be releasing, as we're going to be merging all platforms together via a mobile app. Also, keep in mind that your one-time activation fee grants you lifetime access and superior support with our new support specialists. So now you have full control, all the control you need to run hyper local programmatic radio and podcast advertisements locally. I'm going to save you $25 today to get you up and running on our platform, along with access to 7,500 podcasts, 1.5K streaming stations, access to all of the listeners. Let's move forward. Your one-time fee is now $92. I'm going to go ahead and share the link with you, because I see that a lot of you are looking for access to the link. So bear with me one little moment. And I'm going to just grab this link really quick for everybody. And I promise to get to your question shortly. Something else that I want you to keep in mind is that at the bottom of, you'll see it. I'll talk about it a little later, but I just dropped all the links there for you to get on board the program. And let's keep pushing forward. I got some more stuff I want to share with you. So again, we're saving you $25. Your fee is now $92. No per campaign fees, no monthly fees, no upsells, or none of that mess. Optional. Now, if you choose to go with the option for $117, we provide you with access to more publishers that get added automatically. So you'll be put in a different set of group of users. So keep that in mind. So if you go with that option, you get access to more networks that get added automatically. You go with the $92 option, you get access to the exchanges that are built inside now. So all of those links are now in the chat. Let's do another overview. So programmatic dashboard, tracking your radio ads don't need to be complex. So we've made the overall process super easy to understand. Within your dashboard, you'll get an overview to your campaigns, performance, including budget, start dates, end dates, and more. You could also fine tune with each campaign, again, you have full control. You could upload an unlimited amount of audio files, get your targeting down packed, target specific demographics, target specific zip codes, lots of control here. Forming your first campaign is going to be a breeze. You'll see what I'm talking about when you're inside. Again, we give you full flexibility upon clicking planning. You'll be able to fully plan out your campaign settings, such as start dates, budgets, networks, rule tracking, and more. You could do your hyper local targeting again through DMAs, zip codes, and more. There's really no limitations here. You get a bird's eye view of your campaign with our reporting, 7,000 plus exchanges built into our platform. We give you the live chat as well, so you can network with others. We provide you with training as well. And yeah, so it's now Q&A time. I have some questions here that came frequently. So do you have any per campaign minimums? No, Programmatic Radio app doesn't charge a fee per campaign. We let you do that instead. What countries do you support? We support Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK, and other parts of the Europe as well. Do you provide support? We provide support. I even get involved in support as well. Asan, Wally, incredible people. These are the guys that were involved in the development process. These are the guys that if you ever have any ideas and you're like, hey, I would love to see this added, or what do you think of this? Those are the guys that you want to speak to, like seriously. How do you spend your budget? So we use CPM models on our platform. So that means that for every 1,000 impressions that you receive or listeners that you receive, then you will be charged a set CPM, which you will see in your reports. What type of geographic targeting options do you have? We allow you to do zips, DMAs, POIs, neighborhoods, states, and so many options built inside of our platform. Can we choose what time and date to run our campaigns? Yes, you can run your campaigns on different times of the day. It's completely up to you. Any restrictions? There is absolutely no restrictions at all on our platform, as it is done. All submissions are submitted programmatically. Can we choose which network or channel we want to run with? You can choose from over, again, 7,500 podcasts and 20,000 stations built into our platform. So I want to go ahead and remind you that, again, your one-time fee is $92. So plus the top up, you're looking at about $167. So that's, again, no upsells at all, no monthly fees. And those links are now in the description. Now, for those of you that might want to take this to the next level, you're like, hey, this sounds amazing, I'm ready to go all in. You could actually charge your own fee and really truly position yourself like a radio pro. That is going to cost $119.97. So $119.97, you get access to payouts. You could do your payout request, branding, and your own URL, which I mentioned is Programmatic Pro, programmaticradio.pro. And so you can take this link and share it, collect your leads, and see who's topping up, who's not, and so on and so forth. We'll be in communication with you as we have a separate group of white labelers. So keep that all in mind. We also have options for you, which I've dropped as well in the chat as well. So if you feel like I want to do this, but I want to pay for it on a monthly basis, then that's fine. If you feel like you just want to go all in, fine. You could do that as well. So those links are now in the chat, and prices do go up. You know, I don't intend on keeping our stuff at this lower price for too long, so be mindful of that. So again, $92, $25 discount gets you general access. You still have access to the radio stations that I mentioned, like iHeart, SoundCloud, Pandora, and all those high-end networks, including Podcast One, which is an enormous podcast network. If you choose to go with the 117 option, when we begin to start adding different networks, you'll be notified via your account. And again, you get access to a separate set of networks. $119.97 gives you full access to basically everything. At this point, you're all in. And again, if you're overseas, again, be mindful, keep in mind that we do have a minimum of $100 per year top up, and we do process transactions for our entry manually. So email us, devsupport@redtourmedia.app, and we'll be more than happy to get you set up and going. And that's like lifetime access. So you don't owe us anything. You have our platform, we're maintaining it on our end, and again, it costs you nothing. So that's pretty much it for that. I'm gonna go ahead and answer your questions now. And let's see where we are. So Randall Templeton is asking, can we add clients to a non-white label version? No, you cannot. So if you have general access to the platform, a lot of the times you'll find yourself, just doing a lot of this manually. You know what I mean? So you'll find yourself like downloading reports, sending it to them. It's possible, but for all of that, you might as well just become a white labeler, Okay, so here we go. Let's see. So there is no cost per customer. Like there's no hidden cost at all. And I want to repeat that we don't do any of that stuff here. Again, you're taking 100% on each account, and that is it. Of course, there's tax documentations that we send you, but I'm not going to get too much into that right now. But again, you pretty much have full control. So Robert Castillo is asking, the features you talked about earlier are for the white label users. So right now, this account here, Robert, this is like a full-fledged account. So I have white label access here. I can go pass this link on through wherever I want, social media, etc., promote it, Facebook it, etc., and just watch my leads pile up, watch them top up. I don't have to do anything. So correct. So you can set your own fees as well. I'm going to go ahead and show you how you do that. When you go into your manage business section, you'll see here that you can make your fee reoccurring. So let's say I want to charge, $2,000. On the user's end, when they log in, they'll be notified that they need to top up that amount and the minimum top up. So they'll be topping up $2,075. $2,075. That $2,000 gets paid to you. Like all of it. We don't touch it. All we do is coordinate with you after you make your request, and that's it. Payments are made on every Monday, first 2 weeks of every month. That's how it's done. Mark Johns is asking, what is the average CPM? CPMs are usually around like $1, which is really good. Compared to other outlets where CPMs are like I think Facebook the other day I saw was like, for this particular vertical I was promoting, it was like something like $6. I'm like, no way, no way. Let's see here. Cam Fields is asking, that is correct. The minimum was 75. It's us. So right. So once you, and I want to make that clearly, right? Like when you top up 75, right? Like you don't need to use, like when you form your first campaign, you don't need to use your entire budget on your campaign. So you could have one that's like for $5 because you want to test it out and you want to collect the data. And you could have another campaign for $10 and spread it out. You want to plan it out a little. Rick Cloudwell is asking, can we upgrade to these prices? Not at this time. Let me see how much. So the monthly options I've dropped in the chat. So you'll see that I just dropped them in the chat. We give you a bunch of options. So, I really went to the drawing board and I'm like, I really want to encourage you all to really start like, you know, using these platforms and scaling them out. When you look at, you know, there's a lot of talk about automation, but it really doesn't get any automated than this, you know. And I'm not just saying that, just say it. Yeah, so if you get into the white label, you don't need to purchase any other option. Like you just purchase the white label and you're provided with full-fledged access. So I'll go ahead and I'll drop the links, all of them. Oh, so at the bottom, the last link, right? I'll just copy and paste it here and I'll share with you. So I wanted to do something special for everybody that came out to this webinar. So hopefully you're listening closely. So we have plans to merge all of the platforms together. So if you have Ringless app, you have geofencing app, you have mobile triggers, you have a programmatic TV, you have now this one, programmatic radio. We're going to be bringing them all together, and we're going to be releasing an app, like a mobile app. It's going to be at no cost to you at all. It doesn't cost you anything. I'm dropping a link to a special form. It's a Google form. Fill it out for me. I'm going to text you the link to the mobile app so that you can access it. It's in the works now. We're really excited about it. It's going to really allow you to just track your stats, track how many users you've got registered underneath you, how many people have topped up. We really want you to automate this entire process. So can't talk too much about it, but we also have some really cool features in there to just tie it all in together and make it easier. So definitely make sure to fill out that Google form. And yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab the links one more time for everybody. I don't know why GoToWebinar does that. Like sometimes you'll post a link and then it seems like some people can't even see the link. Weird. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm just going to drop all the links, including all the payment options. There we go. That's correct, Robert. So when you form, so Robert is asking with general access, is it just to run ads? Yes, that's correct. So you could just run your ads. I mean, you could set up campaigns for your clients. I'm not saying you can't, but it's just, you have more control here, you know, as far as like setting your own fees. What'll happen is, Robert, is that like you'll find yourself forming campaigns for them, and then it's like you have to set the pricing, you have to collect the payment, you have to collect, like you're setting up a lot of things for them. If you just want to provide them with access and that's it, then you know we provide you with this link here. We give you a link that you could hand off to them and they register and that's it. Like you don't have to worry about anything else. You don't have to talk too much to them or nothing. So let's see here. So Cam Fields. So Cam Fields, if you're like having tech issues with anything of the top up or anything to do with that, email me, devsupport@redstoremedia.app, and we'll clear it out for you. Maria Fodor has mobile, the geofencing app, billboards, and our radio. Great. So you're ahead of the game. So when you get the app, you're going to be able to track, you know, if you're a white labeler, you can see users that have signed up underneath you. You can track your reports, text your reports to your own clients, and you know we're thinking streamlining it. So just making that entire process easy, you know. So that's pretty much it, right? So are there any other questions? Any other questions? Any other questions? I'm happy to answer them. Does this work worldwide? Yes, it does work worldwide. So very simple process. If you're in another part of the world, you know, you could run ads anywhere. So I'll go into audio campaign tier. I'll form a new campaign. So Robert, you were saying before, hey, how would I do it? Like if this were a client of mine, so I'll show you here. You'll find yourself forming the campaign for them, but I'll show you what you would do on your first campaign. Winston Johnson took care of the form. Awesome, great. So if you filled out that form, then I'll be texting you a link. So client one, we would focus more on CTR. I mean, you could focus on viewability, that's fine, but for starters, leave it as CTR. Wouldn't touch too much of, like when you're starting off, it depends. You want to go in app, you want to leave it open to all of them, great. It's up to you. You set a 7-day window for yourself, so think 7 days. How many impressions you want for the campaign, you can set that there. Okay, I wouldn't worry too much about this stuff here when you're starting off. Frequency cap is usually going to be set up at around 6. These bids here are set up for you automatically, so you could adjust them if you want. Choose the best days that work for your campaign. And of course, you want to associate your campaign with a specific audio. If you want to go and choose maybe target by IP ranges, zips, specific domains, and so on and so forth, you can do that. You could target by folks that are listening to radio on the internet, like they're actually streaming it. Choose AdWiz if you're looking to target SoundCloud and iHeart and all of those stations. We give you the ability to target apps, scheduling, inventory. It's all set up there for you, very easy, super easy. So you can see here, I could go in the UK and run some ads, absolutely. You know, so just, you have flexibility. You have all the flexibility that you could possibly want. And again, if you don't want to deal too much with the, forming your custom campaign, then you could go with this one here, which is very easy to use. Reporting is provided to you and all. So these would be our premium campaigns. You could upload your image, your audio file, so you can associate it with your campaign. Choose your location. So if I want to target, let's put a random address here. Let's see, I want to target this area here, and then I want to go mobile. I'm targeting males, 55 to 65. Stream content, right? They got to be interested. They got to be car enthusiasts because I'm working with a dealership, and they need to be homeowners. I could submit that when the campaign is done running. You'll see that all here and within your reports, which I'll show you. When you click on premium campaigns, you'll see when you click on download, we provide you with a full report. So you can see what happened with your campaign and how it ran and so on and so forth. So you got all of those details there for you. And then again, we provide you with training as well. So you have, you're gonna get training as well. Mark Johns. That's correct, Mark. Yep. So Mark Johns is asking, can you only set your fees as a white labeler? Yes. Only as a white labeler. Can I upgrade later to a white label? It's gonna cost more, Abigail. So, and I'm not just saying that for my benefit, I'm really not, but there are so many variables on this side of the ballpark. You know what I mean? We have to account for our developers and costs, and there's a lot of moving parts behind a platform like this. So we can't really afford to just leave it this low, because it costs us. We have to use our resources, our server, and so much more. And I'm just being transparent here, Awesome, Terry Moore is in, congrats. So if you're already in the platform, go ahead and just comment in. I just got in today, let me know that you're in. So that's a good question. Robert Myers is asking, what are the standard audio file durations? I'll just go to audios and I'll show you. And then what I'm going to do next is click on new audio. And then you'll see here, we explain it 15, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, MP3 file, 1 megabyte, next file, and that's it. MP3 files only. Are there campaign minimums? No, no campaign minimums at all. You have unlimited campaigns that you can form. So Leonard Richardson is asking, I'm sorry, just to be clear, if I have the $92 program, I would have to find a way for the client to pay me to run their ad. That's correct. So you would have to run it manually. Do you have, so Keon is asking, are there any templates made available that we could send to the client to fill out to make the campaign slightly easier? Keon G, email me, devsupport@redtornmedia.app. I'll pass that idea on to Hassan, and maybe that's something that we could do, absolutely. So I'll drop my email here for everybody, devsupport@redtornmedia.app. At this time, the way the platform is, it's built complete and ready for use. So Jill is in, congrats. So if you're already in the platform and got in today, go ahead and let me know in the chat. That'll be awesome. Let me know in the chat that you're in. Did you get value today? How many of you got value? Did I go above and beyond? Do you guys feel like I missed something out? Go ahead and let me know in the chat. I see that some of you are in on the white label. So do me the favor, when you get into the white label, come to the chat and just go ahead and just say hello to everybody, introduce yourself so that other members can see you. We work super hard on this platform and we're really looking forward to more, you know. Mark John says that this was an awesome webinar. Thank you so much for the feedback. I appreciate it. Hopefully you left with a lot today. You know, I really wanted to give you my all and really wanted just nothing for the best for my community, you know, and I'm really excited, you know, for these next phases. We've got this awesome app coming out soon for everybody. So we're on our way to some really cool stuff. We have some other awesome stuff lined up. Can't talk too much about it, but yeah. I'm new in the marketing world. Will this work for me? That's a frequent question that I get, but you know, honestly, when you do anything like this, you go in with confidence. You go in knowing that, you know, at the end of the day, you know where you're headed. You know who you're going after. So you need to have some kind of an idea as to like who you're going and targeting. You know, so keep that in mind. Awesome, awesome. So congratulations. I see that a lot of you are in. Larry V says great value. Thank you so much for the feedback. I'm new and I'm in. Congrats. You don't need to be a scientist to do this. I mean, look at how easy the white label is. It's as simple. It's as simple as taking this link and passing it on. When users sign up underneath you, you'll see how much they topped up here. And, you know, you just have full control. Just full control. Full control. If they didn't want to pay your fees, look at that. You can go back to edit, update the password. They won't be able to log in. So just like I showed you here, this is how it looks when you are like on the registration page for the white label. And then when you log in, all the colors will be on your login screen. You would have to pay the top of fee. You can't really access anything till you pay the fees to use the platform. Abigail Wolf is in. Congrats, Abigail. If you ever need any help, definitely reach out to us. Dev support at redtourmedia.app. Always happy to help. So Rick, I'm just gonna drop my email here for you. Reach out to me and we'll get you the link. You know, what happens sometimes is with redirects, like after you get in, that's very common with some browsers. It depends on what browser. Some browsers can't redirect, so we sometimes have to send the link privately. Winston Johnson says, glad I stopped in. Glad the Bucks played on Thursday. Yeah, the Bucks are just crushing it these days, right? They're doing awesome. Yep. All right. So any other questions? If there's anything that I missed out, definitely reach out to me. Dev support at redtourmedia.app. I'll leave the chat open and put my screen back the way it was. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this presentation. Congratulations to everyone who's on board. You didn't think about it, you went all in, and you know, I did my best. I gave you maximum value. I shared a lot of great stuff with you, and you know, it doesn't get any easier than this. So let's see here. I apologize, my screen keeps going back and forth, so oops. Great, congrats. So I'm gonna leave my screen open here. It was a pleasure serving you guys today. My name is Guillermo Mata. Thank you so much for coming out. Keep in touch. Don't forget to fill out the form that I left in the chat. There's a Google form, okay? A Google form. And those of you that filled it out, you're gonna get a private text from me. And that text is gonna have a link to our new app, okay? So. Cam Fields just dropped a quick question. How much would you charge a client not a white label? That's a tough question, man. I mean, I don't know. The way I would work this out is by running some ads, maybe. That's a good way to go about it. Craigslist still does wonders to this day. I would share the link around. I don't have to do anything. So I'm thinking from the perspective of a white labeler, right? All I have to do is just spread that link. You know, I could form videos. That's easy. I could promote my videos. So you gotta test things out. I don't know what vertical you're in, so it's a hard question to answer, you know? It's a hard one. It's good to see a lot of like the newer guys here taking action too. That's awesome, man. Congratulations seriously to everyone who's on board. So if you're in on the white label, do me a favor, email me, devsupport@redtourmedia.app. So devsupport@redtourmedia.app and just say I'm in on the white label. That is correct, Winston. So ads run on browsers as well because there's a lot of these platforms like Pandora. You could run them on your browser, on apps. There's a lot of exchanges in here, I can see. I told you. I mean, I wasn't making it up. And you know what happens sometimes? There'll be some exchanges that you'll be like, what is this one, right? Just go on Google. You could do a little Google search and see how many podcast they house and how many streaming stations they house. There's a lot of networks built in. I got a lot of value from this webinar. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad that I was able to serve you. Jeremy says this is going to be my first business. Nice. Cool. Let us know. Keep us in the loop. You know, email us, devsupport@redtourmedia.app. Let us know. I'm all in on the white label. Congrats, Jeremy. Congrats. Definitely make sure to email me, devsupport@redtourmedia.app. Can you show me the platform one more time? Absolutely. I'm in no rush here. So remember, you have the dashboard. You have your total balance, total audios, total prime campaigns, audio campaigns. You have the chat here. You have the ability to associate audios and make them clickable. You have the radio app list. So you can target radio app platforms. Like if you go to like the Android store, right? I'll give you an example. I'll show you right here, just so you understand. So on this page, you can see iHeart over here, right? So on this page, there is an ID. You would take that ID and you would bring it over here to our platform and you could target this specific app. I mean, look at the type of reviews these guys got, over 3 million. That's a huge base. But you're not going to target everybody on the platform now. You're going to target a specific group of people and really spread your budget throughout so you don't have to just max it all out. You have full control. Right? Audio campaigns. You have your audio campaigns as well, which gives you full control. Yeah, I mean, literally, you have tons and tons of control here. Premium campaigns. Again, you can target by behaviors. You can see where your ads are going to show, what networks is going to run on. It gives us a chance to monitor your campaigns. You have your reports as well. When you generate a report, you get a full detailed report. So if you don't have the means to like become a white labeler, you can do this manually. Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't get any easier, right? Like you have your report that you can send to your client. Then at that point, it becomes like a branding thing. You got to set up a specific page for this, a specific landing page, a specific channel, a specific fan page. So, you know, make it easier. And then again, you have business reports. I'm sorry, business reports, business users. We provide you with a unique URL. You take 100% on all accounts. And yeah, that is pretty much it. We provide you with training as well. So in general, so Donald Cox is asking, what do you charge your customers for campaigns in general? It depends. You know, to be completely honest, when it comes to charging, I don't really have a set fee. I know like in this space, a lot of these guys out there, they'll tell you, yeah, you got to charge this fee. But it's hard to say when the client, you don't really know where their budget is unless they disclose that to you. And usually based off that, off their budget, we can formulate a plan. And based off that plan, then we can get the ball rolling. So it's not so much about anything, but what can they manage? The amount of business, you know what I mean? Like how like If a business tells us, let's say, for example, we're working with a dentist, they want to promote Invisalign, and they disclose to us that, hey, look, we can manage. We have about $1,000 budget per month. You know, what do you? That's usually what happens with businesses. They'll put the pressure on you. What do you think is best? You know, what do you think is best? Like which route? We can't give them a number on the spot. We have to at least plan it out. Plan out, okay, we can do TV, we can do radio, we could do geofencing, really scale out and see, scale over time, I mean, and see what avenue works best. Does that make sense? So I intend on promoting this to my list. Yeah, absolutely. Promote the link to your list. Because when they register underneath you, that goes to you. Those are your clients. We don't control that. Thank you for doing the details on how to charge. Absolutely, you're welcome. Keep in touch, guys. You can have ads created on Fiverr, Robert Castillo says. Yes, absolutely. Why not? Actually, that's a really good idea. It's cost effective too. And you could get that done in like a day. So yeah. Okay. Any other questions at all? I'm happy to answer them here. Got like 1 minute left. Keep in touch, guys. I left my Google form on the bottom of this page. I'm gonna go ahead and grab it. Fill out this form, please. I'm gonna drop the Google form here for everybody. Fill it out. Make sure you fill it out completely with legitimate numbers and details so that I can speak to you. If I can't speak to you, then you won't know what's going on. And let's see, that's pretty much it. Guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you so much again for coming out to this webinar. I'm gonna leave my slides up. And yeah, I appreciate you all. I will see you on Monday. Speak soon.